construction team. This is episode 11 of the Healing Hut. I'm up here with my friends. Hi Clarence. We're gonna go down to the cottage and I'll show you what I've been doing and what we'll be doing this episode. Since my wife works long, hard hours, I spend a lot of my time talking to animals, goats and chickens, and mostly my St. Bernard, Greta. Now you guys have to stay in. We'll do a walk later. Stay in, stay in. Talk to you later. I'm going to show you what I've been doing. You may not notice, but I've done a lot of work. This episode I've been cleaning up my site, restacking my wood, getting my wood back under tarps. And the main reason is I'm transitioning into a phase focusing on electrical. And today, I'm hoping an engineer from the power company is going to come and show me exactly, go over exactly what we need to do. But from reading the book, I'm going to have to dig a 4x4 by 3 foot deep hole here at the bottom of that pole. And I'm going to have to dig a trench, 3 foot deep trench, to my wall where I will put in a meter for the electric company, and then we'll pause, and then I'll start focusing on interior wiring, and then when all the interior wiring is done, then the electric company will come out and hook it up. So I'm giving myself 2 months for that project. It's going to be very intense. Here's my last French door. I was going to sand on it today, but it's got so much water on it, I might flip it over, start sanding on the backside. A few more things. This old door I put in, I still need to do flashings, and the only reason I haven't is that it's raining every day, and I really want it to be dry before I start putting foam behind these beams, and then caulking, and then a metal flashing around it and around the top. My old French doors, not French doors, but doors from France, you know, being 140 years old, they're warped, and I'm trying to get them really airtight, so I'm doing some clamping on those. You can see, trying to get the warp out, and that might take some work. Now today, besides working on my, sanding on my last door, I'm going to finish getting ready to put this last window in. The window's been ordered. It's not here yet. And I'll show you how I'll be doing some of the tape masking or tape flashing I do. I've already done the outside part. I need to do the inside part. Now this window and this other window, the bathroom window, the flashings were not that big of a deal because we're under a cover. Another thing I'm going to be doing during this episode is this other window. Inside is flashed. This window is going to take the brunt of weather because it's a north-facing windows, which is a good thing, but it's going to be cladded with stone on the outside. There's no really overhead protection. And last time I was talking about working on a lintel, a wooden lintel. It's a decorative feature, using some of my old beams. It's all ready to go up. I did end up drilling holes on the outside to mount it because I couldn't from the inside. I may or may not do that today. Depends on how dry that wall is, because I have to put caulk under that beam. And you don't want to put caulk over a wet surface, and I want to make it airtight. I got some more taping, flashing tape. And then also I got some leftover metal roofing, a 90-degree 4x4 inch panel that I'm going to make a flashing to sit above that lintel, because then above that a rubber mat will go on the wall and will drain water into that flashing and keep all the water away from the window. And that rubber mat goes under the stonework. Last time I was talking about a cabinet I bought. It came from Texas around the turn of the century. It's old, it needs some work, but it's going to fit maybe in the kitchen. It's got 25 drawers. If not, it's going to go in this mechanical room as storage. I'm always looking for deals. And one deal that I got, and let me explain this. I haven't talked about this before. This big item here is actually a Scottish stove, because this cottage is going to be a Scottish theme. I hate to use the word theme, but I guess that's most correct. But it's going to look like a Scottish cottage. And all the old stone Scottish cottages have Aga stoves in them. And I found this when they're very expensive when you buy them new, like $12,000 or more. And I got this one pennies on the dollar for someone who didn't like it. It's a craft to know how to cook on those, but it really fits the theme. But anyway, it's sitting right now in the area that's going to be a stone fireplace. So there's been some developments there. Let me explain this. Is that my view was to have this massive stone fireplace that you would have in like a lodge, you know, a big open fireplace with French doors on each side that go out to the lake. And that was my dream or my thoughts. And then, you know, I watch several YouTube video people who are restoring cottages and things. And one guy from the Netherlands who's restoring a stone cottage in Italy, I hadn't seen him in several months, so I caught back up with him this week and watched 2 hours of his YouTube videos. But one of the things, he's now moved into his cottage, and he restored the fireplace, but really he turned it into a stove. It's a big fireplace, but he had his big metal door with glass in it. And he built a fire. He'd been gone for several months and it was really cold. He built a fire in it and it took off like a rocket and heated up the whole cottage. Now, of course, you know, if you have a big open fireplace, it doesn't heat as well as a stove because it sucks air in through the opening of the fireplace. And that cold air coming in through the doors and things sort of counteracts the heat that the fireplace is putting out. So I started thinking, you know, if I really want this fireplace as a heat source, and it'd be nice that it should be enclosed. Now, the problem is the door is 3.5 feet wide, or the opening of the fireplace can be 3.5 feet wide by almost 3 feet tall. So that's huge. So I said, okay, what would a iron door cost for a fireplace that big? And I searched and searched and searched, and the best price I could find was well over $2,000. A lot of times it's more like $4,000 or $5,000 to have those handmade. So then I went to all my Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, and I started searching bigger and bigger areas. And down in Oregon, I found a iron door that was almost exactly the size, and it was brand new, and someone was selling it for $150. So I started corresponding to her, and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to get this? It's very heavy. And it turned out, sadly, her husband had a dream. I don't know what he was building, but it was going to be on his fireplace of something he was building. And unfortunately, he died suddenly. So it's been sitting in the garage for a long time. Now, I ended up paying for it, and it got shipped up to Seattle by her daughter, and now I just need to go to Seattle to pick it up. But anyway, that's that plan. Now, back to what I was doing. And I thought I would. It didn't rain like they thought it would. But I've been cleaning the cottage. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you my lintel. When it's done, I'll show it. But I need to put a flashing above it. This is a piece of my roofing, and I've measured. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to drill some holes in it, put some caulk on it good, and make sure it's at 90 degrees. It's a little bit less than 90 degrees now. So you'll be seeing me do that. And then I'll go and put it up. And then I'm going to be cutting some old wood to go around the window. And that's because, again, the window's going to be surrounded by stone. And you want to you can't, well, you could have stone going right up to the window, but usually you have a wood frame around the opening. That's what I'm doing. I'll put this on. I got my lintel on. Excuse me. So I'll have to build a wooden frame around the window as well to bring it up to the surface of the stones. I'm just sitting here admiring my view, my lake, and my mountain. I always wonder if I ever lived in a beautiful place where I go tired of it. And I've lived in several beautiful places, but I've been here 22 years and it takes my breath away every time my eyes catch my mountain and my lake. One day I was, 6 years ago, I was driving down our driveway. We just bought this place a few months before, and I paused at the beginning of our driveway looking down at the view, and I thought, you know, I lived 63 years, and it takes that long to dial your life in and get things right. My kids were doing well, and everything was going fantastic. And then within weeks, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I say that as irony. The life, you have to take life as a satire. That funny things happen, and it is funny. It's you know, who would think that at the moment I say my life is finally where I want it to be, that in some ways, at least on the physical level, things fall apart. Well, team, we've completed another episode of the Healing Hut, and I thank you so much for coming along. I'm going to review a little bit what we've done. It may to you not seem like I did a lot during the time, but I've been working hard 2 weeks. One of the things I did, again, that wasn't really caught on film is I cleaned up the area here in preparation for running electrical, and that took 2 days and a truckload to the dump. I've been working on these doors for probably a month. And I'm on the last door. This door had no paint on it, but it looks like at some time in its history, they had a wildcat trap behind it because it was all scratched up. And I'm working on cleaning that up. So I got that to clean up, and then I'll put some varnish on it, some polyurethane. And then my son, who's a cabinet maker, door maker, stair maker, will come and start building the frames for these two French doors to go in. That's going to be exciting. Have really bright light in here for a change. The other thing that we accomplished was, well, I cleaned up the inside of the cottage as well, but I worked on the north window that's going to have direct rain. Today, I finished this frame that's going to go around that window. And I've got Thompson's water seal on it right now. So I was going to wait until it was finished to put it up. It's going to take a week because that Thompson's water seal has to dry. And then I'll put exterior polyurethane on it, probably at least 2 or 3 layers to really protect it. But I'll take you back to my exterior window. Say hi to my mountain and lake I get to fellowship with every day. So here's the lintel, the wooden lintel up above. I think it looks nice. I got the plugs in it now. I got the metal flashing above it. The frame that you just saw inside is going to come down the side and go across the window. I had to plane the top of the bottom piece to match this slope because you don't want rain pooling behind that wooden piece. So it's going to stick out 2.5 inches because that's about the thickness of the stone that's going to go on eventually. So the other thing is accomplished. The engineer came by from the power company, and although I didn't get to talk to him, we were texting each other, and he's going to put together a plan for getting power to the cottage. And then I just got off the phone with the electrician who's going to help me design my wiring and give me instructions on things to do, how to do it. He's not going to do the wiring himself. That's going to be very helpful. Now, in closing, it's really interesting that I also just got a text from my son. I have 5 children, and my son Brian is a PhD in biochemistry and was working on treatments for multiple myeloma and other cancers even before I got sick. So he just texted me that his CAR-T, if you're a multiple myeloma patient, you'll know what that is, that he's been working on developing is going to human trials. And it's supposed to be an improvement on other CAR-Ts, I hope. But he thought I might be a candidate, but I'm not a candidate for 2 reasons. One is I'm in remission from daratumumab, a monoclonal antibody, and there's no reason you don't go off something that's working to try something that you don't know is going to work or not. So that's one thing. And the other thing is you have to have a renal function that's just a little bit above or a little bit worse than normal. And mine's less than half normal. And I regret that, but it was nothing I did wrong. It was just that cancer took out my kidneys before I even knew I had it. And a lot of multiple myeloma patients have to deal with that. But anyway, it was exciting to know that my son's working on a possible cure for the disease that I have. I want to tell you again how much I appreciate you come along. I work all day, not all day, a few hours a day, but I'm home all day alone. I don't go out, I try to much. I take my dog on hikes, but my social life is pretty much zero. So adding this camera to talk to, and also the hour or so it takes to edit it and put things together, is really helpful, and I appreciate you coming. And if you're new to this, hit subscribe down below, hit the little bell that will tell you whenever I post again, and tell me what I can do to make this more enjoyable.